So my name is Lars Olofsson, and I'm from Sweden, and I'm a lawyer from Sweden who are working in a very, very large case called UC Fields. And that is an investment scam within the cannabis industry. And the concept was to buy plants and invest in plants and let UC Fields grow the plants, and then they harvest the plants and sell the plants, and they promise the investor a return of investment. And the return of investment, the promise was to have a return of investments about 66% within 3 months. And I was asked in the end of July by one of the investors, because to investigate what is this UC Field company, how does the concept works, is it a scam, is it a legit business? And so I started to look into this UC Field case in the end of July last year, 2022. And just after 5 minutes, I could see that this was a scam, because I've been investing these kind of investment scams for the past 15 years now, and I could see a kind of playbook. It follows a manual, for a scammer's manual, that you are doing this and you have these kind of arguments and so on. And we are also, besides I'm a lawyer, I'm also an investor in startup companies, and I have been investing in the cannabis industry for at least 10 years. So I know the cannabis industry, growing, production, what kind of requirements the buyers are set on the farmers and so on. And I could say directly, this is a scam. The cannabis business doesn't work like it was presented for UC Fields. And UC Field just presented some kind of fields with cannabis plants. They never presented any buyers at all. And all companies, all startup companies are very, very proud about how much they are selling. All the buyers and so on, not the producing part, the buying part. That's where the revenue comes in. So that was also a red flag for me directly, that this was a scam, not presenting any kind of buyers, just farming and plants and so on. And the return of investment isn't that good within the cannabis industry. There are very few percentage of profit made by the farmers. So promise 66% within 3 months. That is absolutely crazy. That doesn't work. So I started to help one guy in Sweden, because I'm based in Sweden. But just after a couple of weeks, this was snowballing. My inbox in my mailbox was filled with people from all over the world saying that I'm also a victim for the UC Fields. And then we decided, me and my team, I have a team of about 25 investigators and researchers who are collecting information about different kinds of scams. And so we decided in the mid of August to start an operation, start a case. Receiving clients, starts investigation. And the reason why we start the investigation by ourselves is that many of these victims, they went to the police and made a police report that I've been scammed, I've been frauded, and all over Europe and the rest of the world as well. The police immediately said, we cannot do anything. This is a kind of investment scam. It's always some kind of link to the Russian mafia, especially with the situation in the war against Ukraine, for instance. We cannot work with Russian authority. So all the police reports was cancelled. So what we had to do is to make a full police investigation by ourselves. So about 6 months now, we have collected information about what has been happening, who has been involved in this scam, who was the masterminds behind the scams, and who has been helping and aiding the masterminds, the criminals. So right now we sit on more than 20,000 documents. We have more than 500 hours of video recordings. We have more than 400 hours of audio recordings. We have more than 3,000 pictures and documents from the inside of this criminal organization, the Russians. And we have 2 whistleblowers. One whistleblower who comes from the inside of the criminals in Russia, who has come to me and said, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I want to give you all the information about what has been happening, the people behind, and so on. And I also have a whistleblower in Colombia, because there is a strong connection between the Russian mafia, this UC Field case, and the Colombian and the Mexican drug cartels. Because it's not just an investment scam. All these investment scams, they have built an organization and they have built an infrastructure, a kind of internet platform. And that could be used for different kind of purposes, not just for the investment scam, but also doing money laundering. So there is clear proof that inside the investment scam, there is a money laundering scheme that is between 3 and 4 times as much as the investment scam. And the investment scam included something about 125,000 victims. So 125,000 victims from all over the world. And these 125,000 victims has lost between 2.5 and 3 billion euros altogether. And added upon that is something between 10 and 12 billion euros that has been money laundering inside this scam. And the money laundering comes from the drug cartels, because one of the biggest problems for the drug cartels in Mexico, in Colombia, is that everybody buys drugs in cash. And you need to have this cash transformed into the banking system. And that is the money laundering scheme. So what they did was to arrange for money laundering within this platform as well. So it's not just that they attract investors and made them lost money. It's also a money laundering scheme. So when it comes to South Africa, I have, as I said, I have about 1,200 victims. And these comes from 58 countries. And I have today, I think it is something between 15 or 17 clients from South Africa. And there is a strong link in South Africa as well, because some of the people who was working for UC Field actually came from South Africa, was living in South Africa. Some of these specialists who was helping and aiding UC Field, they came from South Africa. And right now, the criminals behind UC Field, they have said that we are going to start new operation. We are going to do a UC Field 2.0. And this UC Field 2.0, just a week ago, I was contacted by one of these people who said, we want me, to come to South Africa and look at our new facility, our new plantations. We are going to start operation one more time. We are going to reorganize UC Fields, and it's going to be made from South Africa. But it's still a scam. This is just doing the scam one more time. So it's a copy-paste of what they had done before, but they are now doing it, and instead of saying that we have cannabis fields in Colombia and we have cannabis fields in West India, for instance, we are now having cannabis fields in South Africa.